So I investigated the ways in which emotions, positive and negative, unfold over time in daily life, and how they relate to various internalizing disorders. So internalizing disorders being things like major and persistent depression, generalized anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder. And it was hypothesized that each of these different internalizing disorders would have different emotional patterns or signatures. So for example, a very generalized example would be someone with depression might have quite high levels of negative emotions very persistently throughout the whole day, whereas someone with, say, specific phobia might have quite normal levels of negative emotions throughout the day until an anxiety-provoking stimulus was presented to them, and their negative emotions might rise quite rapidly and then might drop off quite rapidly once that stimulus has been removed. So even though both of those internalizing disorders contain elements of negative emotionality, they clearly operate in very different ways. Basically, we had a standard baseline measure of internalizing disorders, and then the real good stuff came from the ecological momentary assessment, or EMA, which is where participants would get surveys sent to their phone multiple times per day, where they would rate their positive and negative emotions as they were actually experiencing them. So this really allows us to capture those patterns and those fluctuations of emotions throughout the course of a whole day. And this is kind of in opposition to traditional methods such as self-report, which really rely on retrospective reports, which can be subject to biases. And it really has quite high ecological validity because they are reporting these emotions as they are occurring. Statistically, the main findings were investigated using structural equation modeling, which is kind of like a smushed together factor analysis and regression, and these were used to map participants' internalizing disorders onto those emotional patterns that they were experiencing. Yeah, so on a fundamental level, it generally provides a better understanding of how certain emotions function within certain disorders. We can get a better understanding on a more conceptual level about how certain people with certain disorders may experience emotions in their daily life. And this can help many things, such as treatments and helping guide approaches if we find out that, generalized anxiety and depression have quite similar emotional patterns, for example. We might actually be able to, take treatments from one and put it into the other. The other thing that's quite interesting is that early research has found good support for like daily life interventions through people's smartphones, which help them better regulate their emotions or cope with stress. And research such as this could really help really improve those interventions if we're able to actually target, identify, and stop these emotional episodes as they're happening. If we can predict them better or understand when they're going to occur, we'll be able to actually, if we can stop them before they happen, it might actually really improve participant well-being. Yeah.